Hi everyone, Justine here. I am a minute early, but I figured I would start a little bit early today in order to let everyone join. How's everyone doing today? I am a minute early, but I figured I would start. I have myself on my other phone so that I can actually read your questions today. I have learned a little bit. So, hi everyone, welcome. I see people joining. Thank you for joining. Welcome to Coffee with Justine, episode 3. Who would have thunk we would made it to episode 3, everyone? It's almost March, which is exciting. We're like getting through winter. I hope everyone is staying warm and is safe and sound right now. Sam Schiller 18 is saying, I want to publish so badly. You can, Sam Schiller 18. You can. Stick with us and we can teach you how. Finish that book though if you're writing. So today, our big topic is metadata. And this word scares people immensely. But I am here to tell you that you should not be afraid of metadata. It is just a very fancy word for information about your book. And I know I say that all the time, but trust me when I say, we got this, everyone. We can absolutely do metadata together. So before we dive into the wonderful world of metadata, I want to show you all the mug that I will be raffling off later in the episode. So in honor of librarians whom have really informed my life in many ways, I have had many librarians who have made me who I am today. I have chosen a library card mug. Who remembers library cards? I know they no longer exist, but everything is digital. But I remember them really fondly and always loved writing my name in cursive on a library card. So today, our fun mug is in honor of all the librarians out there, and it is a fun library card mug in beautiful sunshiny yellow. So at the end of the episode, I will be raffling this off with a trivia question as per usual, and I think it's a really fun trivia question, so I'm really excited about this one. And so we're going to get started on some metadata. So, metadata. Oh, I feel like a professor today. Metadata is, like I always say, just a really fancy word for information about your book. Author Mira Marone says, yes, the library card was a piece of proof you were there in that book. Yes, Mira Marone, I agree with you. It was proof that you actually read that book. I remember them all fondly. So, metadata, just a really fancy word for information about your book. And there are these pieces of metadata that I don't think that people realize are metadata. Like, for instance, your title, your author name, your author bio. And these are things that are all just, I think, people get anxious about. But we're going to go through all of this today and make sure that you are ready to do this when you are ready to publish. The first thing I want to talk about is titles. Titles are really important. I think one of the main mistakes that authors make, and my former boss and amazing woman, Robin Cutler, used to talk about this all the time. Make sure you have a unique title. If there are a million titles like yours out there, people aren't going to be able to find your book. So remember to come up with something really unique, because that's what's going to set you apart. You know, there are books out there that already are famous with their own title. You don't want to be another girl on a train. You don't want to have a title that everyone is looking for, because you're going to get lost in the shuffle. So remember to be unique and have that really be your calling card. So when you are naming your book, remember to just really sit down and think about a really good title that sets your book apart. So that is my first piece of advice to everyone, is really take some time to think about the title of your book. My second piece of advice is when you are crafting your author bio. I know we all hate to talk about ourselves. It is really embarrassing, right? But when we are talking about ourselves, make sure that your readers understand who you are. They want to get to know you a little bit. So it is okay to say that, that you live in XYZ place with your 4 cats and, your kids. That definitely helps set the stage for who you are as a person. And so Post Office Fan says, I love myself. That is great. We all should have some self-love out there, right? So definitely try to make your author bio memorable, because that is what your readers are going to latch on to. We're having some questions come in, and I am going to definitely answer questions later after I get some information about metadata out there. We're having some questions about author name and title, so I do want to answer those as we go along. What if another author has the same name as you? Nothing much you can do about that unless you write under a nom de plume or a pen name. So if you do unfortunately have the same name as another author, you can consider writing under a pen name, but other than that, unfortunately, you're stuck with the name your mother gave you. So that's the way of the world. But many authors write under nom de plumes. Many romance authors do. And, it is a perfectly acceptable way to go. Just though, for consistency's sake, if you choose to go that route, make sure that you consistently write under that name in the genre you were writing under. So that is a tip for you. If you choose to, break genre, you can choose to do another name. So that's something to consider. And so another thing, when you are crafting your author persona, there is a field in IngramSpark that asks where you are located. This one is actually really important. You don't necessarily have to put your precise town, especially if you are located in a metro area like I am. I'm right outside New York, but a lot of these indie bookstores and libraries really appreciate you. My mom just joined. Hi, Mom. A lot of these indie bookstores and libraries really, really appreciate you putting where you are located, because a lot of these places have done indie author pushes, because indie bookstores plus indie authors, it makes perfect sense, right? But if they don't know where you're located, they won't be able to find you. They won't know you are a local author. So it is very, very important to put that piece of data in your metadata, and we do have a field for it. So if you are uncomfortable putting the exact town you live in, you can say, you are from New York, New York, or you can say New York metro area, or Atlanta, or LA, or wherever you are close to. So keep that in mind. It will help booksellers and librarians. So that is absolutely something you should definitely consider putting in not only your bio, but also in that field in the metadata. The other thing that you are going to come across when you are filling out metadata is your long description. I think people have a lot of trouble with this because you are essentially writing the entire plot of your book into 600 characters or less, right? So, but you don't want to give the plot away. This is your sales pitch to your reader. So here I like to think of it in 3 chunks. And our team at Ingram that deals with metadata really does this well in explaining this. So I am going to teach you what they taught me. So think of it in 3 chunks. So first you have your headline. This is like your elevator pitch. So you're stuck in an elevator with someone and you have to tell them your story in 2 lines or less. So in television, they call this a log line. So usually it's, Gossip Girl meets Jane Austen. That would be Bridgerton, right? So that would be your log line, but you would write that a little bit more eloquently, right? So think about your headline as that elevator pitch for your book. This would also be bolded. You want to catch your reader's eye when you are writing this metadata. And there is the opportunity to bold things and put them in italics as well in the IngramSpark system. So the next thing is exposition. So this is where you're going to give your readers a little bit more information about your book. So this is where you can have plot, and this is great to have plot, but don't give everything away. You want people to actually buy your book. Make it compelling. You want someone to go, ooh, I need to read this. So spend some time with this. Bounce this description off of friends and family. Ask if they would read it after they've looked this up, right? So this might take some time to craft, but definitely take your time with it. It can't be too wordy. You want to make sure that it's filled with really good keywords that people would search for specifically. So, it does take a lot of thinking to get a really good, tight middle paragraph of this long description. The last part is your closer. This is your sales pitch to your reader. So think of this as, why are you going to buy my book? Well, I am going to tell you why you're going to buy my book. It is a thriller that you can't put down. It's going to have you turning pages. It is going to be the best thing you've read since sliced bread, right? Okay, not the best closer, right? But take time to think about telling this reader why you should read my book and why it's going to compel them to actually press buy, to actually take that book off the shelf and go plop it at the register. So this is truly, truly the sales pitch at the end. So this is how I think of the long description. So 3 parts. The headline, your elevator pitch, the exposition in the middle, that is the description of the actual book, that is full of good, rich keywords, and then finally your closer, your sales pitch at the end. So also make sure that things are italicized, bolded. You want to catch readers' eyes, so keep that in mind. Last but not least, I really want to talk about keywords. This is something that everyone is talking about right now. It is the hottest topic, especially since people are buying a ton of things online. Sorry guys, losing my voice. So people are buying a ton of things online, and how do they find them? Through keywords. You use keywords every day. You put things into Google and it brings up all the search results. Guess what? You're typing in keywords. So when you are actually entering keywords into our keyword field in your metadata, What I want you to think about is what people are going to Google to find your book. So you kind of have to get into the head of your reader. And this also involves you kind of figuring out who that reader is. I am going to be brutally honest and tell you that everyone is not your reader. You truly have to sit down and think about who your target audience is. Is your target audience 30-something millennials? Is it moms with 2 kids? Is it, Gen Zs who are changing the world, right? So you have to go out and truly figure out who that audience is and think about what they are putting into that Google search bar to find the next book they are reading or what they want to read. So when you do this, I want you to consider a few tips and tricks. Don't be redundant. A lot of people feel the need to put every single iteration of a phrase or keyword into this field. Please don't. 1 is enough. I suggest 7 to 10 really strong keywords or phrases. And so, for instance, if you are writing a book about, this is a good one. That is stumping me. I should have had an example of this before going on air. Sorry, guys. So if you are going to do, if you're writing a cookbook about hamburgers, putting both hamburgers and burgers is kind of redundant. I would choose hamburger because it encapsulates both words. So think about those things when you are writing these keywords and what would be redundant. The other thing that I would think about is when you are thinking about retailers and what retailers would think about. So if they're looking for, very specific romance novels that don't necessarily have a BISAC category or a subject code category. So a very specific historical romance that's fantasy Civil War romance, right? There is no subject code for that, folks. So think about those very specific things that would describe your book. Also, don't do misspellings of words that people would necessarily put in. That's not going to get you anywhere. So some other examples are your tone, the writing style, some character types and roles. So if it's a family drama could be a good one. Some audience notes. So for instance, if this is really targeted towards, school age children, you could put the middle grade, the actual grade levels and things like that. So really start to think about what people are searching for in order to get the results that they want. So the more specific, the better. So there are a lot of tools out there that can help you with this. We even have some really great blog material on our website. So if you go to IngramSpark.com and go to our blog, we have some really wonderful posts, not only about metadata in general, but keywords. We also have an Academy course about metadata that will teach you a lot of this stuff and is a great starter course if you have no idea where to start. So I highly suggest looking at both of those resources. We even have a metadata checklist, which we are going to link to when we post this video. So please also check that out because it will make sure that you check everything off your list and make sure that you don't miss anything. So we have some really great resources there. We even sell a metadata essentials book if you want to get super duper nerdy about it. So check this out. It's on all retailers, and you can go buy our book. So these are just some really high-level overviews about metadata. I wanted to take some time to answer people's questions because I know there's been a lot of them and I've just been talking. So give me a second to look at these questions, and I will start. Okay, so I'm gonna take a sip while. Alrighty. Thanks guys for being so patient. I hope you learned something about metadata. All right, I think I got to the front of the questions. So we have IMJ Den Watkins says, my book is for pre-order. Can I make changes to my book before the release date so that the new changes are made for the people who already pre-ordered it? Release date is May 23rd. That is a great question. And the answer is yes. So if you want to make changes to your files or to the metadata, you can absolutely do that when the book is up for pre-order. Metadata changes go out every day unless it is pricing. Pricing changes go out every Friday. So if you make them in the system, they will not go out until Friday at 5 p.m. Central Time. Any other metadata changes, you can make at any time, and they will go out every evening at 5 p.m. Central. And please take note that it may take retailers a little bit of time to update these changes, but they will eventually update. If you are making changes to your files, then you can absolutely make these changes by submitting a revision to your book. And so these changes must be done at least 10 business days before your pub date. Otherwise, we will start printing and shipping orders of those pre-orders 10 business days before that pub date. So keep that in mind, 10 business days before that pub date. Any changes to files must be done well before that date so that they can be inspected by our team in Tennessee who looks at files, and so that you can accept that e-proof to make sure everything is good. So yes, you can absolutely make those changes so that it is perfect for the people who pre-ordered it. All right, next question. Can you add a middle initial or suffix like junior or senior, asks post office fans. Yes, you can. So putting your name into our system, we have fields for your first name, your last name, a middle initial, and any prefix or suffix. So if you are a doctor, you can put in doctor, and you can also put in a suffix like junior or senior. So we can absolutely accommodate all of those. So if you do have anything very specific like that, we can absolutely help with that. Where Beautiful Lives says, what if you already published? Can you go back and change your name? So that is actually a very loaded question, Where Beautiful Lives. You can absolutely go back and change your metadata. However, you have to make sure that it is also the same on your book cover. Otherwise, that would be very wonky. You don't want your cover to not match the interior of or to match the metadata on your book. Also, you want to be really careful about those things, because once you publish under a name and books have sold, you want to make sure that everything kind of stays the same. Otherwise, it's kind of going to look like multiple authors have sold books. So if you accidentally used a different name or things like that, I would say for consistency's sake, you might have to keep it the same. So that's a really good question. If it's like a very small change, I think, and you haven't sold books yet, maybe, but you want to make sure everything stays consistent. So I hope that answers your question. You might want to DM us so that I can talk to you about that a little bit more afterwards, because that's a good one. All right. Phoenix United 2010 says, oh, welcome back, Phoenix United. For a bio, first try to stay on topic. If it's a travel book, put where you've been. If it's technical, put your credentials. Oh, Phoenix United 2010, you bring up a very good point. If you are writing an academic book, definitely put in your credentials. People want to know that you are qualified to be writing about what you are writing about. Also, there is a field that we supply that allows you to put in your affiliations. So if you are a professor and you are affiliated with a college, you can put in that university or college. If you are associated with another type of institution, you can also put that in your affiliations. This is just one more piece of metadata that if people search for you, will help them find you. So again, the more information, the better when you are filling out your metadata. All right. Let's see. So Post Office Fans is asking, long description or full description, are they the same? Yes, they actually are. So that is an interchangeable term. You can say long description or full description. There's also a short description as well. Some people use this as the hook. So a lot of thriller writers will be like, what goes bump in the night as their short description, or, romance writers can put, she tried to stay away, but she couldn't, or things along those lines as their short description, to try to hook readers to come in and read the actual long description or full description of the book. So there are technically two descriptions you can fill out, but they are a short description and then either what is called a long description or a full description. All right. So Sam Schiller 18 is saying, so for someone that has edited and finished their book for their first time publishing, how do we do it? This is my first one. Oh, Sam, that is a very long topic. I would suggest that we have a lot of resources where you can go look for the whole publishing process. We have some really great academy courses on IngramSpark.com that teach you how to not only upload your book, about metadata, about marketing your book, but also our blog has some really great articles. And then also, if you want to listen to me blabber on for even more, I really suggest checking out our podcast as well, which has a lot of great information about where to start. So definitely check those out. Let's see. Poems by Alejandra asks, if I published on KDP, can I remove it to republish on Ingram? You can actually do both. So the great thing is that both platforms play nice in the sandbox with each other. So you can, as long as your book is not in expanded distribution, you can actually have your book both in KDP and IngramSpark at the same time, as long as you own your own ISBN. And those ISBNs can be bought at Bowker, BOWKER, or you can buy your own through IngramSpark for $85. So we have a discount with Bowker actually. So as long as you own your own ISBN, you can actually do both. So that's a fun tip for you. So let's see. Any more questions? Post Office Fan says, how much of the description does Ingram pull from Bowker? So this is actually an interesting question, because when you do buy your ISBN from Bowker, there is a way to input all of your metadata on Bowker as well, which I actually suggest that you do, because a lot of retailers use it as a backup when they want more metadata. So I suggest actually putting all of your metadata in IngramSpark as well as Bowker, because then there will be 2 records of all your metadata, and then retailers can pull backup from Bowker if they need to. So definitely have metadata in both places. It is very important. So that is a great question. But retailers, they get it from us. So, but if they need to, they'll go to Bowker for any other additional information. Let's see. Any other questions? So Where the Beauty Lives says, what about poetry? We absolutely do. What about poetry? We love poetry here at IngramSpark. We have a lot of poetry in our hallowed halls. And so you can absolutely upload a poetry book with us, and would love you to. That would be great. So author Mira Marone is asking, metadata how-to book. Going to pick it up. Great. Yes, please do. It was written by our metadata team here at IngramSpark, who works incredibly hard. And there's some really, really great information in here, especially if you love to nerd out on data like I do. So definitely an interesting read for sure. So author Mira Marone is asking, can you change metadata at any time? Yes, you can. And honestly, I suggest that you update things like keywords every 6 months or so. Things change, especially in the world these days. So as trends change, as the world changes, so are those keywords. What people are searching for is going to change. So make sure that metadata is fresh. Make sure you update it. Don't just set it and forget it. You want to make sure that everything is going to be as fresh as your readers are. So it is actually very important for you to keep tabs on that metadata and make sure that it is always current. So Funzy Kendall says, how long does it take to receive a hardback manuscript? So I think, Funzy, you are referring to an actual printed copy of a hardcover. That depends on our turnaround times. Right now, hardcovers are running a little bit longer than usual, just because it takes us a little bit longer to print hardcovers. But all of our turnaround times are in the website at the moment. And once you do order that hardcover, you can choose the type of shipping. So you can do 5-day, like regular ground shipping. You can do 2-day, 1 day. And depending on how long it takes us to print it, then it should be within your door between 5 and 1 day. So there you go. It's BN says, Amazon is having issues with shipments, distributions, anything that IngramSpark can do. So that's a really good question. Amazon is having those issues predominantly right now because of the storms that happened. Unfortunately, a lot of America has seen really some hard times the past few weeks. A lot of shipments have been delayed, not just at Amazon, but across the board. And a lot of distribution centers had to close because of the storms. So you might see some less than desirable availability messaging at Amazon and at other retailers. And that's mainly because there's been a backlog at these places as things are getting back up to speed. But luckily, the thing is, I know that it's warming up here. I know that it's warming up in the rest of the country, and hopefully things get back on track. And so I hate to say it, but I think time is going to heal these wounds. So please be patient with all of us as operations get back to normal. So that's my advice there. Author Mira Marone says, is there a limit on keywords? I believe our limit is 100, but here's the catch. Different retailers have different limits on keywords. So even though we allow you to have 100, Amazon only might take 10, B&M might take 20. I'm just throwing numbers out there. I actually don't remember how many each individual retailer takes. However, that's why we say 7 to 10 really good ones, because depending on how many keywords that individual retailer takes, you want to make sure that the ones you have are quality, not necessarily quantity. So that's why I'm saying really, really think about the words and phrases people are Googling to find your book. I hope that helps. Funzy Dragon Books says, what is good metadata for early learning fun children's books? So this is where a Google game is a really good thing. So I would say start typing keywords and phrases into Google and seeing what they suggest. It is a very interesting exercise. There are also other keyword softwares and websites that can help suggest keywords for you. For instance, Google does have one, and there are other ones. Moz is another one. So I would suggest checking some of those out if you are getting stuck. It might be a good tool for you to move forward with good keywords. All right. Where the Beautiful Lives is asking, do I need to inform my local bookshops that I'm available through Ingram? Always a great idea, because it makes it very easy for your bookstore to order your book. It is actually a good sales proposition. So by telling your local bookstore, like, hey, my book's available through Ingram, that's just easy for them to order it at that point. So always a good idea. Same goes for your libraries as well. All right, let's see. So Buckner Bruce 414 is asking, what is the difference between using an SSI number and an EIN number? Oh, you stumped me on that one, Bruce. I'd have to find out for you. Please DM us and I will find out the answer for that for you. I am Jaden Watkins asked, when does author compensation get into my account? So we actually pay on a rolling 90 days. When you do your account setup, we ask you to input either a bank account or a PayPal account. For the first 90 days, you will not be compensated. And then if there are sales, that compensation will automatically be deposited into that bank account or that PayPal account, depending what you provided us. Maria Forrest author has asked, how do I encourage bookstores to buy my chapter book trilogy that is too big for kids' chapter bookshelves? Here's a suggestion. You can take it or leave it, Maria Forrest author. Perhaps split it up into smaller books. That might help with a sales proposition. That it may not work depending on your series, but it could be helpful in terms of making it an easier sell to the bookstores. But always a good thing is to make a really good relationship with your bookstores. and also have what I call a sell sheet. And that is an information with all the metadata about your book on one easy to read sheet for your local bookstore. So build a good relationship with them and make the sale easy for them. Have all the information that they need ready to go and easy for them to digest. So those are 2 tricks for you. But I think we're definitely going to do a future one of these on bookstores. So definitely tune in for that. Check it out. So I think we're running out of time here. So I'm going to do like 1 or 2 more questions, and then we're going to raffle off the mug. So let's see. Tickle Me ITE LLC. I definitely butchered that. I am sorry. Is asking, are you mailing books on time or in better time now? Yes, we were behind because of Christmas, and we have definitely gotten more on track now. So paperback turnaround times are back to normal. Hardcovers are still a little bit behind, but yes, it is much better. Christmas always throws us for a loop. This Christmas was particularly bad. I really apologize, but I think this Christmas was unlike any other for all of us. So again, I really apologize for that. But yes, paperbacks are back to normal. All right. And let's see, I can do one more question. So if I live near a warehouse, can I pick up my order so I don't have to pay for shipping? Unfortunately, no. We do have warehouses all over the country, but unfortunately, we do not offer warehouse pickup. So I'm sorry about that. You do have to ship the books to wherever you need them to go. That's a sad note to end on. So I'm going to do just one more. Is it good to have both a hard and soft cover? Does one sell better than the other? I always suggest doing both. You never know how your readers want to read. I personally love hardcover because I sit on a beach all summer. My mother can attest to this. I am very hard on my books. She yells at me for dog-earing them. But I love a hardcover because it holds up to sand and salt water and suntan lotion. But commuters love paperbacks. You know, my husband prefers paperbacks. Actually, he prefers ebooks. But having the book in all formats does not limit your reader. It gives them options, and options are a good thing. We live in a world of limitless options. So I always say, do not limit your reader, do all of them. All right, and on that happy note, we are going to raffle off the mug. I forgot to say this last time, so I'm going to absolutely remember this time because otherwise my marketing manager is going to yell at me. She's not, she's just really nice, so that was a lie. But unfortunately for all of you who are international, we cannot mail you this. So the contest is open for US residents only. And so we are going to do this with a trivia question. And this, my marketing manager is texting me right now, LOL. Love to know that she's watching. She says, I will only softly yell at you, smiley face. So we're going to raffle this off with a trivia question. I'm going to read the question and then I'm going to say go. At that point, you can then type your answers into the comment section, and whoever is first to give me the correct answer wins this beautiful mug as well as a handwritten note from moi. So this is going to be, I think I have a good question today. So is everyone ready? All right. This famous Christmas book was originally self-published and made the author only 137 British pounds. Go. Answers? Answers? It's a self-publishing question, folks. I feel like I need to give like Jeopardy music. Oh, and we have a winner. Wow. Light Chaser Studio has come in with the correct answer at A Christmas Carol. But then other people started typing it too. Yes. So A Christmas Carol is the correct answer. Charles Dickens had a flop right before A Christmas Carol, needed the money, and decided to self-publish A Christmas Carol after he wrote it in 6 weeks. So there you have it, folks. A Christmas Carol was self-published. A self-publishing success story of a absolutely classic tale that my mother has read me every Christmas since birth. So, Light Chaser Studio, this mug goes to you. Please DM us with your information, mainly your address and your name, so that we can mail you this mug. Everyone, it has been an absolute joy. Thank you again for joining me and having some coffee with me this afternoon. I always enjoy talking to you, and I really appreciate you listening to me. And we'll do this again next month. And please come ready with your questions. I hopefully will come ready with the answers. And until then, stay warm, stay safe, and keep writing. Bye, everyone.